Osama, there is somebody joining in the name of iPhone. If we can request the person to rename himself or herself. Good afternoon, Ridhay. Ridhay, you can put yourself, unmute yourself. Osama, maybe you can help unmuting Ridhay here. Good afternoon, Ridhay.
You're on mute, Ridhay.
If you can just unmute yourself, we can hear you.
Yeah, hello, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good, I'm good. I'm sure you can see some similar faces over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shivani ma'am is right there. And
Yeah,
probably you would be knowing Rahul Mishra as well.
Hello, how are you? Good afternoon, everyone.
So thank you so much for joining us, Ridhay. Thank you for taking our time and to join us on this forum.
Not at all, ma'am.
Yeah. All right, I think we can start the session. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. It is indeed a great pleasure to have you in this forum with us on Meet and Greet session with our new age entrepreneurs. Among us, we have our alumni. In fact, Ishan hasn't joined in, so it's Ridhay Khanna, Managing Director at HH Global Sources, and Dr. Sahab Masala. We also have our Director, IILM Institute for Higher Education, Dr. Kakuli Sen, and IILM esteemed fraternity who come from distinct fields of specialization. In fact, I'm also excited to see so many participants here on this panel discussion. So once again, I welcome you all on board, and I hope you enjoy and find this session fruitful and meaningful. On the onset, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Dr. Shruti Gill, Professor Marketing at IILM, and I'll be the host for the session. So kindly bear with me. So before we begin, I would just like to share two things because I did see somebody logging in with the name iPhone. So kindly, please do rename yourself. We would like to address you by your name. And in fact, name is the sweetest thing in a dialogue or a conversation. So please do give us that opportunity to address you by your name. And secondly, if you have any questions, kindly post it in the chat box to Professor R.T. Sharma. We'll try to address it as and when they come by. Although we would have loved to have this panel discussion face-to-face in our campus, but I guess digitalization is a new normal. So here we are interacting on this virtual platform. Now, I would like a director, Dr. Kakuli Sen, who will come and talk about the new age entrepreneurs, just for us to understand who are these new age entrepreneurs, what motivates them, what inspires them. So let's hear from Dr. Kakuli Sen.
Hello, everyone, and very good afternoon to all of you here. I can see quite a number of people who've joined in. May I request you all to be on the video mode if you could? It would be good to see your beautiful faces and interact with a face rather than just a blank screen and your name. So I'll be very happy if you could rename yourself. And rename or also come on the video on mode. So it'd be good to interact with you. So welcome once again to this meet and greet session with the new age entrepreneurs. Today we have two guests with us who are our own homegrown IILM alumni. Ridhay Khanna, who's already joined us. He's from the 2009-12 batch. He's currently the MD, HH Global Sources, and Dr. Sahab Masala. We are also expecting Ishaan Seigle from the 2012-15 batch, who's the COO with H3 Grob Aircrafts, Germany. So very warm welcome, Ridhay, and to Ishan for thank you so much for taking, I'm very fine, thank you, Ridhay, for taking out time today and helping us address the new age potential budding entrepreneurs. And I'm sure this session is going to be very useful and productive and enriching, hearing right from you who could be possibly a few years their senior, and listening to how did they make it, how did you make it, and how can they make it. So thank you once again for joining us. What I'll do, students, I'll take you through about 4 people who have made it big and try and understand what drove them and get to know them a little more. So on your screen, you have Ridhay Agarwal, who I'm sure you know about. He's the founder and CEO of Oyo Rooms. Now, Ritesh belongs to a city, Cuttack, which is not as big or as metropolitan as your own city, Delhi is, with probably not as much exposure. But he had that entrepreneurial mindset. So he started selling SIM cards at the age of 13, when, you know, all of us are still in school. At the age of 17, he had traveled across the country and stayed at probably 100 odd places, and then came up with that idea that people need to get access to better rooms, to better stay facilities. And that is how he came up with his idea. He had an idea which he submitted to a project, and then he made it. He got this $100,000 funding, and that is how his company was born. And today his net worth is in billions. He says, start small, nail it, and then make it big. So the idea that he had was a very simple idea. I'll talk more about a little more in the idea when I talk about the other people. Can I have the next one? Now this person, this fellow has made inroad into our lives like no one else. So whether it is Facebook, whether it is WhatsApp, all of us throughout the day, sometime or the other, have definitely accessed WhatsApp or Facebook. And he's the one who started the Facebook, and that is how we all got hooked onto it. Then he acquired WhatsApp, and then they have, imagine or think about the kind of customer base that he has, billions of people onto it. And he says, I think a simple rule of business is, if you do the things that are easier first, then you can actually make a lot of progress. Think about what Ritesh did. Think about what Mark Zuckerberg did. They're all talking about or thinking about the very basic needs. One person thought about, you know, how do I make, when I travel, how do I make my stay more comfortable, a better, more easy, more comfortable, more convenient, and more home-like. The other person thought, how do we make the way we make memories? How do I remain in touch with other people, my friends, family, across continents, etc. These are very simple ideas. There, you have Satya Nadella, Indian American, the 3rd CEO of Microsoft. Microsoft is a technology-driven company. Interestingly, Satya Nadella's BTech is not in computer science. He's an electrical engineer. He did his master's in computer science. And that is where he realized that his true calling lies. He says, be passionate and bold. Always keep learning. You stop doing useful things if you don't learn. How true. How many of us would have known that Zoom is something that it will come into our life, it will zoom into our life like that, and we will all be dependent on him or on it. And technology, I always say that technology is a great leveler. And now you see technology is a huge enabler as well. With this meet wouldn't have been possible if technology was not there. How many of you would have, ventured out in this heat to come and meet us physically, face to face at IILM Lodhi Road in this, in this weather? But look at this. We are all sitting in the comforts of our home, addressing each other and utilizing our time so well. Next, I talk about, next slide. There. He's the most interesting person out of the 4 people that I thought I'll share with you. Jack Ma, I'm sure all of you know, the founder of Alibaba. He says, if you'd read his life, such an interesting life he had, so much of struggle. He struggled in everything that he did, whether it was in his college degree, whether it was at jobs. He applied to about 30 jobs, got rejected every time. Interestingly, he had applied at KFC. 24 people had applied. 23 people got selected. He was the only one who did not get selected. He's applied to Harvard Business School 10 times, got rejected every time. He was an English teacher. Early on, he realized that internet is something that has a huge potential and it's going to come into our lives like nothing else. How right he was. And there you see. He says, once in your life, try something, work hard at something, try to change. Nothing bad can happen. And what has he come out with? His company, Alibaba, is a technology-driven company, where it's a platform where he's joining, where he's letting brands meet, letting wholesalers meet. It's a huge multinational company. It started with 18 people. Today it has like huge number of people working. What I'm trying to say through this is, it is the idea that needs to come. It is not about money. It is not about an existing market. If you have an idea and you are passionate about it, you must pursue that idea. You will see how and what it leads to, what all things. If you have an idea, you'll be able to create a market around it. That's how you see. These were baby steps that were taken by Indians like us, young people like you. And these are the names that you see here. First Cry, Swiggy, Ola, Snaptea, Byju's, which is all over the TV these days in the times like this of virtual learning, Oyo Rooms, Paytm. These are startups with valuation of $1 billion or more. That is what our talk today is going to be about. Helping you realize that you can dream, and you can dream really big. But the start can always be small. It doesn't matter. So we talk about our entrepreneurship program at IILM Lodhi Road. Today we have 4 programs, but this program is particularly dedicated to, this session is dedicated to BBA with entrepreneurship, where you have your seniors, IILM alumni, 2 entrepreneurs who've made it so big. Our hearts swell with pride when we talk about them. And they're very, very dear to us. But they were just like you when they came to college, bubbling with enthusiasm, maybe not too sure about what they're going to do in life, but here they are. Sometime, somewhere, an idea struck to them and they have followed it through and through. So thank you once again, all of you, and our esteemed alumni, both of you, welcome. And I'm sure our students will learn a lot from you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your inspiration quotes over here. In fact, this definitely is a motivation and inspiration for a million other young 24 entrepreneurs who are just waiting to fly with their wings on. Moving ahead, our Finance Minister, Nirmala Sitharaman, just recently announced rupees 20 lakh crore package, which is in favor of medium and small scale enterprises. So now I would like to call upon Professor Rahul Mishra, Professor for Strategy and Innovation at IILM, to share his thoughts on the economic reforms and its implication on the medium and small scale enterprises. Sir.
Thank you, Shruti. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, students and our very esteemed alumni who have joined in. As Kakuli has really pointed out, that this is the age for the new age entrepreneurs. In the COVID regime which we have, or the COVID time which we are going through, there is a massive disruption which has happened. But this massive disruption will also lead to, in next 2 to 3 years, in the massive burst of entrepreneurial activity. And I think that's wherever in history, if you look at, if there's a massive disruption in society, you will see after 2 to 3 years, again, the entrepreneurial activity coming up. So this is the right time for that. What government has done is to facilitate the credit flow to the micro and small and medium enterprise. So the first step they have taken, which is known as a kind of a second generation of economic reforms. I will come back to first generation later. So the first thing they have done is to extend the credit of 3 lakh crore without any collateral, without any kind of commitment to these, cash-starved small enterprise. So that's the first step. The second step, they have redefined the definition of micro, small and medium enterprise. And that will lead to the lot of other subsidies, benefits and other benefits which they can get. And the third step they have done is that they have created a fund where the stressed MSMEs, there's an acronym for that, they can get the equity financing. There's already stress, they're already in trouble. They can get equity financing from the government, from that fund. So these are the three important reforms which government is trying to do so that our MSME can take off. But let me tell you, in the last 5-6 years, particularly with the Modi government which has come in, with the Make in India, ease of doing business improving, there are other things which are also happening in the background. The first thing is that the ecosystem of entrepreneurship is getting created. With the new incubators, accelerators, and venture capitalists coming in, I think there's a huge room for the new enterprise, and that they are going to do very well. So these are two things which are combining. And then, the strengths of India, despite, we have got a lot of problems, but there's also no denying the fact there's a huge middle class which is there and which is going to, increase in size in years to come. So there is an absolutely right time, massive disruption, again leading to burst of entrepreneurial activity, new firms coming in, some firms may be dying also. And this is the right time where the government is supporting, the ecosystem is available, and you have got to take charge of that. In this scenario, if you think yourself as an entrepreneur, get trained in that, I think that will be of great help. So that's my short introductions of what is really happening in the policy framework. Shruti.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. In fact, I just wanted to check with Professor Aarti Sharma if there are any questions directed to Rahul, sir.
I think we have received one question from a student, Dr. Shruti, and the question goes like, Sitaraman's package is referred to as the supply side measures. Do you think it will help to boost the demand too?
So look, in economics, there's a trade-off. So the government has learned from the mistakes of 2008 financial crisis and response of that other government which we had. So they didn't want to the cash handouts, cash transfer, and that may lead to the higher inflation rate and also leading to the currency depreciation. So that would have affected in other way. Now, the cash handouts have been given to the farmers, to the poorer people. But let me tell you, this is for the last 2 months, if the economic activity, because of the lockdown, the demand has been compressed. There is a demand. I'm not saying there's a very high demand, but there is a demand. It has been compressed because of the lockdown. But yes, my sense is that the government may come up later on, maybe in October and other, when the demand really going up. If they give some kind of a break, the tax break for the middle class, things may pick up. Today, you see that RBI has reduced that rate, repo rate for that, to 4%, from 4.4% to 4%. So all the EMIs is going to be lower. The loans are going to be lower. I think all these things should lead to higher demand. And the kind of investment, let me tell you, the government has opened up a lot of areas for the private sector. So the private sector is going to make those investments. They're going to create those jobs, and then that will lead to the demand. It's a conservative approach, but I think it's also an approach related with the fiscal stability, so that we should not have higher inflation later on. We should not have currency depreciation beyond going to a point on that. So I think it's a trade-off. We need to see that. I think the government will come up if 2 to 3 years the demand does not pick up. I'm very sure that they will also address the demand side of the economics for that.
If I'm not wrong, Dr. Rahul, there is another 3 months of moratorium that has just come in today. I think I was reading somewhere 3 more months.
Yeah.
It's been...
Yes, for the loans and everything. Even the collateral. So this loans without collateral, which they have extended to the small and medium enterprise. They don't have to pay the principal amount, and they just have to pay the interest for that. And there is no collateral. And most of you know that Ridhay will tell more about that most of our MSME is starved of, working capital or cash. If you give them, I think the economic activity will start. Jobs will get created. Money will get into the hands of the people who earn from that job, and then they will spend. It will take time. My sense is the demand will really pick up from the October quarter, and when the festivals are also going to be there. And that's where the fundamentals are strong for India. We don't have to worry about it. It's only about kickstarting, giving them the support and giving them the benefits for that. I think that's where. But by the real reason is that I see that the young generation, when we see that this massive disruption leading to massive entrepreneurial burst of activity, on that, I think that's where they should, capture this opportunity. Get trained, and you have got a huge opportunity to become an entrepreneur and get real benefit of that. What you have seen in the last slides of Dr. Kakoli, the companies like Baiju or the unicorns, which we know that, they have come in the last, say, 5 to 10 years. And you can bring in new technology, you can bring in new ideas, and I'm sure that you will have got new companies coming in next 5 to 10 years on that. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir, for giving us more clarity on the economic reforms, and especially for our budding entrepreneurs here. In fact, I've just noticed that Ishaan Seigle has joined in. So I would like to introduce Ishaan to the participants over here. So Ishaan Seigle is the Chief Operating Officer at SV Grob Aircraft, Germany. Thank you, Ishaan. You've joined us from Germany. So definitely we've crossed geographical barriers and got connected virtually on this platform. Thank you so much for joining in. All right. So how beautiful is the circle of life? Till yesterday, they were holding our hands. And today, till yesterday, we were holding the hands, and today they're holding ours. So let's take a peek into the success stories of our alumni present here, Ishan and Ridhay.
Hi, my name is Ishaan Seigle. I'm 26, Indian. I graduated IILM in 2015 with a BSc Honours degree in International Business from the University of Bradford. I couldn't recommend IILM enough, not just for the sheer quality of education that they offer, the incredible professors that they have who provided me with an unparalleled level of support, more than I could have ever asked for. My time at IILM coincided with me working already, having to travel a lot. I couldn't be there as much as I would have liked to, but with their support, not just managed to complete my studies and graduate, but also top some modules in my final year. That just shows you if I can do it with their support, anyone can. Moving to today, I run a company in Germany called Grob Aircraft. We're one of the world's largest manufacturers of composite aircraft. We have in production a very high-performance military training aircraft. Me as their COO, I lead a 300-person team. Also this year made it to the Forbes 30 under 30 list for manufacturing and industry in Europe. I couldn't thank you enough, IILM, for the education you provided me.
Hello everyone, my name is Ridhay Khanna. I was in the 2009 batch. I've had a fabulous experience overall at the Institute of IILM. We've got all the exposure we needed. The faculty was fabulous. We had an amazing library downstairs. Whatever research work we had required, what was needed during the coursework, everything was available. We had a lot of guest lectures coming in from big corporate companies who came and spoke to us live to share their experiences and give us their insights of what is the reality of these companies and how we need to function at becoming the young entrepreneurs in life. We've also had a lot of field trips to a lot of factories where we saw everything live and met all the people there who gave us the guidance, who had a lot of experience in what we needed to understand and shortlist for our careers in the coming future. I'll give you a brief introduction. We are into imports of dry fruits and spices. We do mostly agriculture items. We are importing from around 8 to 9 different countries, and we are selling in wholesale in different states of India. So we will look forward to have a fruitful conversation with you soon live. I hope you have some interesting questions to ask me regarding anything to do in business or related with our industry. Thank you and look forward.
All right, so moving ahead, now I request our director, Dr. Kakuli Sen, to have a brief chat with Ishaan and Ridhay and give us some interesting insights into the college life and the journey so far.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shruti. I think these videos were very interesting to hear straight from Ishaan and Ridhay in terms of, you know, how they are, what they are doing, how IILM helped them learn and help them in shaping their careers some way or the other, and how they are doing now. So thank you, Ishaan and Ridhay, once again for joining us. I would like to put some questions across to you for the benefit of our budding entrepreneurs here. Both of you are so successful today. So, you know, you are not too old, you are quite young. And how did it start? Like, were you always very focused, or, you know, it came upon you after a certain time? How did it happen? Ishaan, would you like to answer that first?
You'll have to unmute yourself, Ishaan.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's a very interesting question right there. For me, basically, actually, in my last 2 years at IILM, I was running a startup in pharmaceutical technology that was doing repeat medicine management, and then I did end up making a big switch into aerospace and defense. So I'll sort of speak about my time here with, you know, in the aerospace industry. Aerospace itself is it's a very technical sort of domain to be in, especially in aircraft manufacturing. I think for me, yeah, I've always had this incredible passion for airplanes in general. That is not something that is easy to sort of develop. I mean, you can't walk into an airport and start walking around airplanes, or you know, you can't access simulators or any of that. Ever since I was a kid, my game of choice, so to say, would be Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I basically tried to do everything I could to learn more and more. That combined with me being the person where I love, it may sound cliched to say, so to say. However, I love setting goals and sort of goals that other people may consider insane or crazy, or say, listen, yeah, I love doing things where people say, listen, that is impossible. There's no better feeling than someone telling you to your face, listen, what you're trying to do is not possible, and then going ahead and achieving that. And I think when I combine the passion with this crazy drive of saying, listen, I will make that happen. And yeah, if you combine passion, you combine insane amounts of hard work. I literally say manic amounts of hard work. Yeah, I very openly say God can't stop you if you put those two things together. And that basically is my very simple philosophy of how I do things. I need to be incredibly passionate about something where I'm eating, sleeping, dreaming it, and then combining that with just a crazy amount of hard work.
Brilliant. I think that passion is the key word. Ishaan, I think that's what it is. Passion is the key word. If you can identify your passion, then you don't work all your life. You just go after your passion, and that becomes the love of your life. So you hardly realize that, the kind of work that you're doing, it is not boring. It is always driving you towards your own passion. So great. Thank you. Ridhay, can we hear from you? How were you as a college student? Were you always very determined about what you want to do? Or you are one of those happy-go-lucky who discovered life as it came?
Yeah, I think my teachers around here should know better. So,
Sure, sure.
so I was one of the naughtiest students in class. I'm sure the faculty members must be thinking twice before seeing me in the morning. Like, they never thought that I'm going to be that serious in life ever. But however, life falls in place somehow. And yes, it was very interesting because uh, I had a lot of exposure in college initially because I myself had planned once a field trip to one of the factories in Amritsar, where we basically went to see manufacturing of woolen mills and some blankets. So it was a fantastic experience going with the students, with the teachers, amongst each other, traveling by road, meeting the people who are already there in the industry. And then of course then we had a lot of guest lectures which were regularly hosted by the college. So it's very interesting to meet the people from the industry who you get better insights. So somewhere it that's the areas where I started picking up maybe what I need to do for my career and how I clicked uh, what maybe to like decide further what I could do in future. I had a family business, but everything got into place much later on in life for me. I was actually more could say it was a family business, and I was the fifth generation into it, so I didn't have much of an option. I got forced into it, so I was pretty much confused all through. So of course, the college has helped me. The education and the support of my faculty, teachers, everyone has helped me to basically decide and see what are my strengths and what I need to do initially. So it has been an interesting journey for me.
Great. Okay, so that's very interesting, Ridhay. You mentioned that you organized a trip while you were here, and I think that, and you said that you learned along the way that how do you organize, how do you talk to people. I'm sure you've gone through marketed that idea that we are going to another place. We need to book the tickets. We need to be there on time, and everybody needs to arrive safe and sound and go through a certain set kind of a routine. So that must have added value on getting to do these things on the ground.
Yes, of course. I think the biggest thing was that usually when you join a new college, it's very difficult to make even, basic things like making new friends. So you have to break in the ice, and these kind of activities really help you to open yourselves out with the other people in your class, which is also, I feel, is a part of your education system, because unless until you don't share your ideas, brainstorm your concepts, you don't talk to each other, understand each other's backgrounds, that's how you learn and mix up all the blends together. And then that's how you see life from a different perspective. So it was we had to, convince everyone. It was very difficult to convince the entire class, convince our teachers that we'll behave ourselves and we'll be very good throughout the trip. And of course, a lot of naughty things did happen all through here. But then it was overall a good experience because we traveled together. We shared a lot of. We also had an opportunity to meet the directors of the factory. In fact, one of the directors was he was one of my family members who cooked some meat in the garden outside. Maybe Shivani ma'am here might remember. There were a few faculty members who went with us. So we had very fruitful conversations, and we saw all the machinery there, how it was happening. The factory was basically supplying all the woolen mills and textiles to the Indian Army, and also they were exporting to various countries. So I think these activities are very essential and important.
Yeah, true. Because Ridhay, if we see the kind of business that you are in, it may not be directly related to what you actually saw. But this gives you that exposure, gives you an overall idea of the bigger picture. You could be doing any business, but when you get exposed to the entire process, then it builds your own thoughts. You could be taking some ideas from there and implementing some ideas in a different way. but I think the overall exposure must have helped you develop in your personality as well, because you get those
Definitely.
leadership skills and, you know, so many soft skills as we call them, but which are actually life skills.
Right. I totally agree with that. And so
Yes.
it was one of the most fabulous things the college did for us. And I think it started to become more of a routine for us.
Great.
So,
Yeah. So Ishan, my next question is to you. As Ridhay pointed out that, you know, he was very instrumental he used to take part in the regular college activities, and he would do things more hands-on. So you, as I think in your video said that you were also busy with your business and the startup and the other job that you were doing. So how did you balance this between the studies and the life that you were leading at that point of time? And as you also said that you topped in some of the modules. So how did you bring about that? How did you manage that?
Yeah, I think the key for me here was that, and you know, this is something also that, you know, if someone were to ask me, would be my very basic advice. Or what I did myself was not to sort of move away from this school learning system of learning for repetition, or purely, you know, learning directed answers that need to be reproduced, to actually learning out of interest, or learning in a way that, yeah, what I'm studying is going to be of use at a later point in my life, and I'm studying what I'm studying not because I have to, but out of interest. And based on that, basically, even though I may not have been ever present, I was also one of the few students who had no extra tuitions. So I was not with, I had no extra help outside of the university. Yeah, that was something I was studying on my own. But what I did do was really approach my professors with questions, not purely what was, you know, what I had to learn, or what was sort of compulsory to be answered in my examinations, but over and above that as well. So sort of try and try and do my learning in a way where, yeah, that, you know, these are things that are going to be of use later, and try and go over and above what I must do. And I think that's what really helped me top my modules as well, because it wasn't superficial learning, so to say, but I was actually doing it out of interest, and truly understanding, yeah, what was being taught to us.
It's quite responsible, Ishan, for young shoulders of like what, 19, 20, 21-year-old, and
Yeah, I
balancing so many
graduated when I
things.
was 21. Yeah, I think I was in
21
IILM.
there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's a lot on the young shoulders, and I'm sure a lot of our students currently are feeling inspired listening to both of you, and some of these I think are resonating. I'm sure they're resonating with them, their current situation, their aspirations. So that's so lovely to hear. You know, when you talk of these things, and when we think of you as a 17, 18, 19-year-old with us, I'm amazed at the kind of differences you come up with and the way you shape up. For us, in fact, all of us here, each of you, each of the students that comes to IILM, we believe that each of you has a great potential. And the more we hear you, the more we realize that, you know, what we're thinking is absolutely right. And I think it's part of the growing up. Like Ridhay said that, you know, we were also naughty and we did naughty things. And but that is all part of growing up. So if that was not happening, what is life without a little bit of naughtiness at, you know, and there's no spice if everybody is like, you know, comes to class at a time, goes out of class, does all the assignments, I'm sure the teachers will also get bored. So that's wonderful to bring, you know, if we look forward to these kind of, you know, students who are a good mix of, you know, passion, naughtiness. That's very natural at your age. So great. Ridhay, my next question is to you. You are Delhi based, and a lot of our IILM, in fact, Lodi Road prides on you know, offering a networking platform for the students who come and, you know, network with the like-minded students who could be there, you know, in future. They could be potential business partners or suppliers and, you know, dealers, etc. So how do you think, you know, are you in touch with your batchmates or seniors, juniors, and how do you, would you like to say something about the networking platform that IILM prides itself on?
I think the best thing the college and our faculty has done has created a ILM WhatsApp group, which is basically we all alumni are a part of it, and we share a lot of information and the updates of what's happening in the on the news or in the market, and a basic communications also what each other or what we are guys are doing and to support and each other, because the other day only one of our alumni had basically sent us a text like in case you need some help with the PPE kits during COVID or with the mask, so you can approach us. So I think that's one of the very positive things the college has done for us. At the same time, yes, I think the biggest advantage was location. The location was right at the heart of the city, and all the fruitful markets and the libraries. The British Library was not very far. We had a library in the campus, so I think the location made a big difference in the for us. And so we could save a lot of time commuting. Just unnecessarily wasting a lot of traffic around. So it was very central to us. So we could save a lot of time reaching back to our respective lives. Where we could do a lot of other things.
Yeah, right. So, of course, location is one of the very big advantages that the IILM Lodhi Road has. And you're rightly saying that we are very well connected, and it helps in saving time. One of the reasons how it helps is that, in fact, most of our students come from business families. And quite a few of them are also working at the same time or learning or, contributing in their small little manner to their family businesses. So it helps at that point of time if they get that a little bit of extra time to learn. So once they have the classes, then they go back to their businesses and continue without wasting too much of a time. Of course, when it is required, they're all there. But at the same time, the location definitely helps. So thank you so much. I think a lot of serious talk has happened. Ishan and Ridhay, I would like you to share some light moments from the college that you spent 3 years with, and how did it go? One memory that you have from the college, maybe during a cultural festival or a sports or any other outing that you went for, something, or even in a class. So share something that that is memorable to you. Ishan, would you like to come in?
Sure. That's actually quite a tough one because there were quite a few, but I did have quite a few of my moments of actually being thrown out of class as well, and like Ridhay said, it was actually, funnily enough, I was messaging Shivani ma'am just yesterday, being like, now when I look back at my time at IILM, I am so sorry because I must have been the professor's nightmare, for showing up late, just being the absolute naughty one in class. And I was just sorry for giving you guys hell. So I think there were a whole bunch of naughty moments that were there. A lot of which I would refrain from mentioning over here, but there were more than just a few. But
you see, there is a correlation. Ishan and Ridhay, both of you. There is a correlation.
When Ridhay was talking about that, I was just smiling in my head, being like, yeah, I can totally relate to everything he's saying right now.
Yeah, so there is a correlation. The naughtier ones get invited. They are the ones who do better. So they get invited and they interact, and they are the inspiring leaders to their next generation of business leaders.
I'm not quite sure if you all would be happy with us setting that example for potential students listening over here, but I think that does seem to be a takeaway from this conversation.
That's part of the college life. So we are okay. As teachers, I think we know that these are coming, and we are okay with it. Ridhay, I'm sure you have plenty.
Oh, I had plenty of experiences, but actually one thought just came into my mind. I actually, in this platform, I'll just share to all the students who are looking forward to maybe join the college. I would like to share is before I joined IILM. I was in another college for a year. Of course, it's not the right place to name the college, but I had a lot of difficulties there because I couldn't really relate myself with the students over there. there was certain, because I had a very different background being, I had done my IB board and I was studying in Bangalore initially. And when I came back, so I wasn't very comfortable to join that college. And it was every day I used to come back and tell my dad somewhere, I'm not fitting there. This is not the best place I need to be. Or maybe if I have an opportunity, I would like to shift. And then I had a cousin who had graduated from IILM, and then I spoke to him over the phone, and he said, I think you should go and have a look at the institute. And then when I went at the institute, I saw all the children, and somehow I had a feeling, I had a gut feeling, and this is the right place I could fit into, because I saw all these youth, and somehow I could connect because it's somehow it depends a lot, like what is your background, like where are you coming from. So it's a lot of students face these issues even while going to universities abroad or any institution, that they need to fit at the right institution. So the best thing that happened to me, I was from a family business, and till date, I think the biggest advantage was there were so many children and they were all from business backgrounds. They all were from various business backgrounds. They were all from businesses which were there since generations. So it was like a networking platform. Like, the people especially go take courses to do network, to do some networking courses, or they're doing some kind of activities where they can come across some people from industries, and to build up that network. And I didn't need that once I was a graduate from IILM, because I had the entire bunch of people right in my class. And somewhere I felt so fortunate, because once we all started proceeding to our careers, it was so much helpful to just communicate to each other, and then we knew how to basically help each other out. And we could have just met over a lunch or a dinner or over the phone call, and we kept in touch. And now the best thing is, in our class, everyone has gone into different fields. So it's been a nice blend and combination, and it's given me a huge platform, in fact. So I feel very lucky to be graduated from IILM. And of course, we all were naughty, because we were all from different kind of backgrounds and different fields, and we had our own personal lives. So it was a good blend and combination for us into one classroom, where we all were what we were in our age. But I think that's what life becomes interesting, because you meet new people, and you do certain things, you do mischievous things, and then that's how teachers remember you, and that's how teachers remember me today.
Absolutely. That's so reassuring to listen to this, Ridhay. And I am quite sure that all your batchmates are doing very well, and you are all in touch with them, each other. We are also reaching out to them, and we love to have we are in fact very, very proud of, 12,000 plus alumni that we have, and very much like you all. And we are proud of each one of you. Thank you, both of you. Dr. Shruti, I think Ishan has a meeting to go to. So maybe
Yes.
we could, take this on, please, further. Thank you, both of you.
Okay, it's always so wonderful to walk down the memory lane. Now I'll open the session for questions. So once again, if you have any questions, please put it in the chat box to Professor R.P. Sharma, and we'll try to address the questions in this forum. Just to give you a heads up, you can ask our panelist, Ridhay Khanna. He's an industry expert, so you can ask him for any tips just to prepare yourself for the future, or you could ask questions regarding your flagship program. So please let the questions roll in. Aarti, if you can let us know once the questions come by.
Yeah, so
I think 1 second, Dr. Shruti. I think as we said that probably Ishan has to leave for a meeting. So maybe we could give some time to him to say a goodbye to our students. And if they have any particular questions for him, we can always raise them with him later. So maybe Ishan, you would like to say goodbye?
Yeah, so I have basically another 10 minutes. So if there's any questions, I'd be more than happy to take them right now. Over the next 10 minutes, if you like, if that's how you'd like to proceed. And then
I do have a few questions from the prospective students for you, for Ishan and Ridhay. And the first question is actually a very interesting one. So the students would like to know what was the most beneficial thing that you learned or experienced at IILM, and how do you use it in your current role?
Okay, so if I start with that, I think what's really essential to know over here is that so the work I do, speaking of myself, the work I do now basically involves a very steady mix of let's call it a toolkit, which is what IILM provides you with. It's tools of analysis, and yeah, basically what you learn in your modules is a certain way of thinking of things. And when you have situations, what are the tools that you can use to break those situations down and to come to decisions, or how to better certain processes. So I think everything that you do learn, there's a whole bunch of things that I do currently use in my day-to-day work as well. There have been many situations where I have referred back to things I may have learned during my time at IILM. That I do implement in my day-to-day work life as well. And then of course, this is mixed with a steady stream of real-world experience that you have to gain past your university life.
All right. Thank you, Ishaan. Shivani ma'am, if you would like to, share a few words with Ishaan, since you have been his mentor. And then probably, I think, Ishaan, we're sorry. I think you're in between your lunch and meeting. So, but thanks once again for giving us your valuable time.
My apologies. We actually have today's a holiday in Germany. Yesterday and today. So yesterday was a Father's Day holiday, and today is also a holiday. But we have a supervisory board meeting that's going on, and that's basically 3 times a year where we get grilled on every decision we make and why, what, how, and all of that. So.
Right.
I'm in the middle of that, so we get. Luckily, they give us an hour off in between to get our thoughts back together.
Yeah.
Sorry for that.
Yeah. Shivani ma'am, if you can share some words with Ishaan, you've been his mentor.
Yeah. So Ishaan, thank you very much for joining us. And I'm really thankful that you accepted the invitation very quickly and very fast. You did not take just a second that, yes, I am busy in meeting. And I'm really grateful to you that you have kept your you have sacrificed your lunch actually to join us. And I can remember all the good days with you, and chats which we had, the challenges which you faced for during the submission of your projects. But we worked together, and it was really lovely and memorable time spent with you as well as with your classmates. You are really adorable, lovable, and we miss you all actually. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think I think there's nothing for me to be thanked here for, but I couldn't thank you enough. I know how many challenges you actually did face with me, and with the peace and calm with which you dealt with me was absolutely incredible. I don't know personally if I would have managed to have that much that much patience like you did with me, but yeah, I couldn't thank you guys enough. And yeah, in lieu of that, I must say that not just this invitation, but of course, it goes without saying that I'm always available for anything that I can do to help in any way that I can give back. Also to offer this, this may sound a little bit out there, but if you ever want to plan a trip to a aircraft manufacturing facility and send students to Germany, you're more than welcome. If that's ever a sort of long shot industry visit trip that you guys would like to do, we'd be happy to host them.
We would love that. We would remember that. Ishaan, we would remember that offer, and we would love to do it.
Please, absolute pleasure. We're actually now one of the last remaining factories in the world where an entire aircraft is produced from scratch. So our aircraft actually starts sort of like the shirt I'm wearing as fabric, as carbon fiber. And in the last step, you can actually sit in it and fly it. And that entire process takes 6 days. So we can take an aircraft from cloth to a finished flying machine in 6 days.
6 days?
In 6 days. And that's basically what we do here. That is, yeah, so it's usually now you have factories that are producing components all over the world and putting them together somewhere else and flight testing somewhere else and so on and so forth. We're actually one of the last remaining ones where we do the whole process in one facility. So if that would ever be of interest.
I'm sure the students are delighted to hear this, Ishaan.
Yeah.
Amazing offer which you have.
Would be my pleasure.
Yeah.
And I would like to share that yesterday when I was chatting with Ishan, he shared that I want to do my MBA also from IILM.
Oh, lovely.
I was wondering if I could do a because there's no way I would be able to sort of step out of my position at work now and and go back to studying. But I was speaking with Shivani ma'am if there'd be a possibility to do a sort of distance learning MBA or something of that sort.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So we'll see what we can do there. Yeah. But we're very thankful to you, Ishan.
All right.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you. And yeah, if there's any further questions after this, I'm happy to take them via email or so. All right.
Sure.
Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you so much, Ishan.
Yeah.
All right. So moving ahead, Professor Aarti Sharma, if you could just let us know on the questions coming by.
Yeah, I have some questions coming by from the students. So the first one is, okay, so it's very relevant to the 12th standard students now. So it goes as, my board exams are not over yet. Can I still apply for the BBA program at IILM? And is there any criteria for 12th standard marks? So.
All right. I think in that case, I would request our admission head, Namrata Sharma, to please come in here and address the question. Namrata, you'll have to unmute yourself. Namrata, yeah.
Thank you very much for your question. Right now, we are giving provisional admission. Once your exams are over and the results are out, you'll be required to submit the original documents. And the criteria for 12 marks is at least 55% of marks are required in the best of 4 subjects. I hope this answers your question.
All right. Thank you, Namrata.
So then we go on to the next question. This is again going to the admissions team, Dr. Shruti. What is the admission process here? And during this time of COVID-19, how are the PI conducted?
So Namrata, if you could come in again, please.
Yes. The admission process is very simple. You have to register on the website, which is ubs.ilm.edu. Then you have to submit the form, complete the form and submit it. And then you will be shortlisted for interview according to your mark sheets and your documents that you have submitted. And right now, because of COVID-19, we do not have the simulation process. So only personal interviews are conducted online or a telephonic interview is conducted. Virtual interviews are also conducted if both parties allow.
Thank you. And now we go on to another question, which is a very interesting one for us to answer. So it goes as, how is your BBA different from any other college offering a regular BBA?
All right. I'll request our senior faculty, Dr. Daisy Mathur, Professor Entrepreneurship and Family Business Management at IILM, to take up this question.
So good afternoon, everybody. The BBA program is divided into 3 years of 2 semesters each. First is the foundation year, which helps build on basics of subjects like management, marketing, accounting, etc. The second year builds on these subjects as well as has courses on small business, which are more experiential learning, where a student goes out and studies an actual small business. We also have human resource management and venture capital. The third year has specialized subjects like family business management, entrepreneurship case studies, and mergers and acquisitions. And it culminates with the submission and defense of a thesis on a business-related subject of the student's choosing. Further, we also have an entrepreneurship development center, specifically works to groom those with entrepreneurial aspirations. Under this, we organize events with the industry speakers, alumni, conferences, you name it. We also have an incubation center for IILM where students have been able to turn their ideas into reality with full support from the institute. In fact, there are several examples like Growth World, which is an e-commerce business facilitator, and Dirty Hands, which is a retail vending machine. In fact, current students are also preparing masks to help the society and give 30% of profits to help the migrant laborers. So overall, our institute defines itself and is different, looking at all the extra things we do for entrepreneurs, for aspiring, and even those with entrepreneurial mindset. It doesn't have to be that you want to immediately start a business, but it will certainly help align your mindset towards that. I hope I have answered your question.
Thank you, Daisy. In fact, we have 2 questions coming from the students. Aarti, if you would like to address.
I will just read them out. Ma'am, I would like to know, how is international degree which is offered by IILM different from the UGC degree, and what are the benefits of the international degree?
Can I answer that question?
Dr. Kakuli to please, yes.
Yeah, okay. So I think the student is asking that, how is the degree of IILM different from the UGC degree? So UGC, we have to understand, UGC is a regulatory body in India for the Indian universities. So University Grants Commission, all the universities come under the purview of UGC. So it is an Indian degree, and all Indian degrees must have the approval of the UGC. Now, what you are doing at IILM is an international degree. It depends on what your aspirations are. So with an international degree, you are able to take a transfer at IILM if you want to take a transfer. First of all, the international degrees are very hands-on degrees. So they are very application oriented. All the foundation courses that you study, the second and the third years build up on those foundation. They are, the pedagogy that we follow, the teaching method is very case oriented and application oriented. So that's one of the major differences. Second difference is that you have something called thesis in the IILM program in the third year, which is a very detailed report, analysis and findings of a particular industry that you can pick up. And it is critical for your degree. So there is a process. You start in 1 semester and then you go through that in the full 1 semester. And then you prepare your research question. You have your entire thesis where there are mentors allocated to you. And then there is a viva that happens. So over Zoom, over Skype, etc., or in person, that viva happens when you defend your dissertation. And that is a critical part of your degree. So the program structure itself is very different. It is not oriented towards a degree, just a degree, but a degree which is very oriented towards your application, how you should be. You heard the alumni, whatever we are teaching is supposed to help you in your business directly and immediately. It is not as if you do your 3-year graduation, then you do another post-graduation, and then it will be useful. It is not like that. What we are doing at the undergraduate level, it is going to be immediately beneficial. You heard your alumni speaking, both Ridhay and Ishan. So that is the applicability of this. Then then there is one more interesting and very useful component. A lot of you want to go abroad and study, but you may not be very sure that whether you want to do it for all the 3 years or you want to go there, having spent 1 year or 2 years at IILM and go there for the final year only. So those possibilities are available only with the IILM association that we have with 40 plus universities, where you can take a transfer or go and study a semester. So directly our students have been going to UK very regularly. Every year we have some students, particularly from the IILM Undergraduate Business School, Lodhi Road, who take a transfer. So there are 5-6 universities where our students regularly go. So that's that's the other big advantage that you have. Of course, location and all, Ridhay has already clarified. So that's definitely a huge USP.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah.
Thank you. I think there was one more question.
Yeah,
I think there was.
Yeah. This is the last question that I have received in my inbox. So it goes like, What would be the study criteria at IILM? Question mark. The examinations and all question mark. Can we apply and do a BBA without having economics in 12th standard?
Okay.
That's the questions, basically.
All right. So I'll take that question again. See, when you say what would be the study criteria, entry criteria. If you mean the entry criteria, you could be from any of the stream, and you should have done your 12th and got at least 55% marks, cleared all papers. Initially, we give you, as I think Ms. Namrata clarified, that we give you a conditional entry, which is subjected to confirmation once you have completed your 12th boards and got your results. So that is the entry criteria. Economics is not compulsory, but I must also tell you that studying BBA, and you will have to study a couple of subjects, modules in economics, because it is business that you are studying, you see. So there will be certain business or economics related questions, but the more you study entrepreneurship or international management, economics will form very integral part and critical part of it. But we have other programs, which is BBA with psychology and BBA with communication. There the program spread of economics as such as a subject could be less, but it will not go away completely because you are studying business. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, as we come to the closure of the session, I would request Dr. Shivani Khurana to come in and give a vote of thanks.
So good evening, everyone. It's my honor and privilege to give vote of thanks to all those who helped to make this session happen. I am Dr. Shivani Khurana, professor in the area of organizational behavior and associated with the IILM since 12 years. So on behalf of IILM and entire fraternity of the institution, I would like to give my sincere thanks to the most valued alumni, Ridhay and Ishan, for accepting the invitation and joining us despite having their busy schedules. Ishan has sacrificed his lunch and he had to leave early because he was having other meetings lined up. And Ridhay was very generous to came out from his meetings to join us. Thank you, Ridhay. And I am very sure your august presence, inspiring words, sharing your success stories, challenges which you have faced, as well as your very good time spent with all of us, will surely motivate and energize our potential students. And I must iterate that the charm of the session was impossible without your presence. Ridhay, you rightly mentioned our 3-day long trip road trip to Amritsar. I really appreciate the way you organized and you managed 84 students. So it was really commendable job. It was a really commendable job which you had done, and I really appreciate, and I give examples in my class that the way you organized and managed 84 UBS students for 3 days. So I must acknowledge your respect as well as regard showered all the time. Thank you very much from bottom of my heart. And I must mention my deepest sense of appreciation and gratitude to all the students and parents. It's because of you we are gathered here, and I'm sure this session will help all of you to take the right decision to choose the course along with the specializations. At IILM, we believe to give lifetime experience, everlasting bonds, networking opportunities, which you will cherish throughout your life. As you can see the way Ridhay and Ishan has mentioned, they are still, after 8 to 9 years, they are still cherishing the memories. Thank you everyone for taking the time to be here. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so before that, Dr. Shruti, there is a message from students. They are thanking you. They are thanking ma'am, and they are saying that they have really enjoyed this session.
Thank you all. Thank you, students. We loved your presence here. And yes, I still have a question coming in from one of the students who's asking about the placements. We will surely address you in person. We will talk to you, don't worry. And thank you all once again, and enjoy yourself. Stay happy, stay healthy, and stay safe. Take all precautions, and we hope to see you soon. If there are any questions, please feel free to reach out to any of us. and you have all our details. We are Ms. Vijayalakshmi, Ms. Namrata, they have been in touch with you. Please feel free to put up the questions. We'll be very happy to answer. Thank you all, and God bless
So
you.
I think we can just play a bit of a yearbook memory video for
yes,
others
if you
to
have,
watch,
yeah,
and we'll wrap
sure.
up the session with that.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody. You may now sign off. Thank you.
Okay.